anxious because you want to do things the right way. I remember the day that doing things right hit all new levels for me. It was the day my son, Logan, was born. Wide-eyed, I just stared at him. All I wanted to do was hold his tiny little perfect hand. I knew that day that I would do anything and everything for him. As a type A overachieving perfectionist, I've always wanted to be successful, be good, and do things the right way. I followed society's popular roadmap to success. I got high grades, went to a really good school, and worked diligently at my career. Fast forward to my mid-30s. There I was, packing everything from work into a box. My eyes were stinging, my throat ached. It was humiliating. My life, it was a disaster. I had just gotten fired, was struggling through a divorce, was barely surviving because I had just filed for bankruptcy as well. And then my worst fear ever, I was a single mom. My instincts to survive kicked in to overdrive. I needed a win. Doubling down on society's roadmap to success, I juggled my family and work and went and got my executive MBA. And I climbed my way to the top of the corporate ladder. Then one day, my life came to an intersection, literally. I was driving with Logan, and he started in on me for the umpteenth time. Mom, I don't want to go to after-school care. I hate it. Come on, Logan. You know the deal. You're my buddy. We're partners in this. You have to stay so I can work late. It's how I afford our home, all the fun things we do, and all the toys that you get. Logan listened for a minute, and then he simply said, Mom, I would rather be homeless, living on the streets with you, if I could actually just be with you. He was 7. I was devastated. In my effort to be a good mom and do things the right way, I had denied my son what he needed most. Me, his mother. Of course, I wanted to be there for Logan and listen to him, but I didn't have any clear answers. This little voice of fear in my head kept saying, staying with your job in corporate is the smart, responsible, right thing to do. So I kept going down that corporate path. Until about a year later, when things got crystal clear for me. When I was having my second son, Nico, I negotiated that my maternity leave would partially be taken as Fridays off. And midway through, my boss, the CEO, he just changed his mind. With all due respect, my family is actually planning on this 4-day work week. This is how our childcare and life is being organized. My boss, he shrugged his shoulders and said, if you don't like it, you can resign. I knew in that moment that I could no more. Everything came tumbling around me. The funny thing is that even though everything was so crushing on me in that moment, there was another voice in my head, one that came in loud and clear. It was calm and it was confident. And that was the voice of my intuition, my higher self. I was done with society's roadmap to success. It was time for me to find and follow my own path. The interesting thing about when you start following your intuition is things start falling into place. Coincidences happen, doors open, because intuition always leaves breadcrumbs for you to follow. Following my intuition, I was guided, and I started taking inspired action, despite any fear. And following this process, I met a businessman who owned a branding agency. And he said, "Do you know how to be a project manager?" Me? Of course I do. Now in my head, I was thinking, I don't actually know what a project manager does, but when I go home, I'm gonna Google it and I'm gonna figure it out. Because I had gotten really scrappy at that point. And when you think about like our work culture, right? We have a very employee cog in the wheel way that we think about work. And it's not working for so many individuals. As a business coach, I've actually done a study across 3,500 employees. And they say, 48% of them, almost half, say they wish they had more flexibility and freedom in their career. So why do we do this like corporate grind? I think it's because as animals, as humans, we are animals who are hardwired for following our instincts. And our instincts are intended for survival. So anytime we leave the pack as mammals, our instinct automatically has fear. But when we let go of that fear, something much more can open up for us. The day that I was the most scared, yet had the most liberation, was when I sat in HR and traded my resignation letter for my severance pay. The little voice in my head was thinking, what would people think? But that much clearer intuition was there for me. Perhaps you are considering or have considered following your own path, breaking away from the pack. It can be very scary because it's way outside the comfort zone. Just remember, your fear is triggered by instinct. Instinct is for surviving. Your intuition is for thriving. Your intuition doesn't need any facts or evidence. It's an inner knowing or feeling that you have your truth, and following it will take you to living your highest possibilities. Intuition will always guide you, so trust it. Next time you're at a crossroad or you're feeling fearful, just follow the breadcrumbs. It will lead you into stepping into your power. You'll push through any fear that you have, and you'll start taking that inspired action, even and especially when it doesn't logically make sense. Intuition, it works. It's how you can live your life's purpose.